Did you know there are 8 million total estimated plants and animal species on Earth? The planet lost 100 million hectares of tropical forests from 1980 to 2000. Southeast Asia lost about 7.5 million hectares of land that were used as plantations to produce palm oil, cleaning products, cosmetics, and so on, which caused a loss of ecosystem. At least 680 vertebrate species have gone extinct since the 16th century. Local varieties, species, and domesticated plants and animals breeds deteriorate or vanish. Species diversity and living organisms are becoming extinct. By 2016, more than 9% of all domesticated breeds of mammals used for food and agriculture had gone extinct, and at least 1,000 more species remain threatened. Current negative trends in biodiversity and ecosystem show that we will not meet 80% of the assessed targets of the Sustainable Development Goals concerning poverty, hunger, health, and so on. This report shows that the loss of biodiversity is not just an environmental issue, but also a developmental, economic, security, social, and moral issue. Researchers continue to explore the intersection of human activity, our environment, and biodiversity around the world.
What is biodiversity? Biodiversity refers to the variety of life you'll find in one area. It is the richness of different kinds of animals, plants, fungi, and even microorganisms like bacteria that make up our natural world. Each of these species and organisms can encompass the evolutionary, ecological, and cultural processes to work together in ecosystems to maintain balance and sustain life. However, for the past few years, our biodiversity has been declining at an alarming rate, mainly due to human activities such as land use changes, pollution, and climate change that results to biodiversity loss. What is biodiversity loss? Biodiversity loss refers to the decrease in biodiversity within genes, species, individual organisms within a given species, and biological communities within a defined geographic area ranging from the smallest ecosystem to the global biosphere. This loss in the variety of life can lead to a breakdown in the functioning of the ecosystem where decline has happened. According to the United Nations, in collaboration with IPBES, in mid-2019, they reported that there is a biodiversity warning because out of a total of 8 million, 1 million species are now in danger of extinction. There were also researchers who talk about the 6th mass extinction in the history of our planet Earth. What are the causes of biodiversity loss? First off is climate change. Climate change impacts biodiversity at various levels such as the species distribution, population dynamics, community structure, and the functioning of the ecosystem. We also have pollution. Our biodiversity is being affected by the different kinds of pollution as it alters genetic diversity within populations, reduces the reproductive potential of biota, it reduces crop or natural vegetation production, and it impairs the structure and function of ecosystems. Next is destruction of habitats. The primary effect of habitat destruction is the reduction in biodiversity because when an animal loses their natural habitat that is needed to survive, its numbers decline rapidly and it moves towards extinction. Fourth is invasive alien species. According to the United Nations Development Program, it is the second biggest cause of loss of biodiversity in the world. They act as predators and compete for food, hybridize with native species, and they introduce parasites and diseases. Last but not the least, the overexploitation of the natural resources wherein their consumption at a speed greater than their natural regeneration has an obvious impact on the planet's flora and fauna. Due to these causes, it leads to biodiversity loss, and here are some of the major consequences not only for the environment but also for human beings at the economic and health level. Extinction of species. The alteration and destruction of habitats puts thousands of species in danger of extinction. Threat to human beings. Biodiversity loss endangers human well-being by affecting soil and water, which are fundamental to food production. Proliferation of pests. Imbalances in ecosystems can lead to the emergence of pests that damage crops. Increase in CO2 emissions. The capacity of forests and oceans to absorb CO2 decreases if their ecosystems are adversely affected.
Wanting to preserve the entire planet is a big goal, but it's one we cannot do on our own. To achieve huge, attainable changes, everyone must do their part in creating a difference, whether it is big or small. So what can we do to help preserve biodiversity in our communities? Here's a few ways on how we can help reverse biodiversity loss. Number 1 is to practice the 5 R's. The 5 R's concept refers to the well-known 3 R's, which is to reduce, reuse, and recycle. That is widened further, which is now known as refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and recycle. The 5 R's is also a concept commonly used by businesses to make the outcome of their recycling programs better through reducing the amount of waste the company produces. Number 2 is to make sustainable food choices. When we purchase organic food, we are contributing to the reduction of inputs of fertilizers and pesticides into the environment, which in return reduces negative impacts on nearby beneficial insects and aquatic biodiversity. Organic foods are increasingly available, even in regular supermarkets. Number 3 is to conserve energy. By reducing your energy demand, you reduce both carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere, which contributes to global warming and the need to disturb habitat for fossil fuel prospecting and extraction. Number 4 is to make mindful choices when purchasing cleaning products. Use environmentally friendly products for cleaning. This reduces chemical contamination of habitats both during manufacturing and when those chemicals go down in the drain. And number 5 is to live sustainably. Sustainable living is something we can each choose to do on a daily basis, whether it be taking shorter showers, riding a bike to work, or buying eco-friendly products, since it helps reduce the amount of resources we use.